book the match. New Blood Rising had 13 fucking matches on the card. I'm not doing that. I'm cutting it down by half. There will be 6 matches on the card. Judy Bagwell in a shark cage. Sting versus Vampiro in a Dark Carnival death match. A 3-way tag title match with the Filthy Animals, Ray and Juventud versus Jindrak and O'Hare versus Chronic. A Canadian Championship match between Lance Storm and the Great Muta with Bret Hart as special Canadian referee. Nash versus Steiner versus Gorg. I couldn't avoid this match, unfortunately. And Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett versus Fit Finlay for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Those are the 6 matches. Let's start at the top.
All right, first
the
off,
host.
Hang on. Where's your 4 weeks of TV?
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to show you the 4 weeks of TV for each match, and then we're going to get into the pay-per-view book.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to check. Go ahead.
Yes. Buff Bagwell, Chris Kanyon, or Positively Kanyon, doing his Diamond Dallas Page gimmick.
Who better than Kanyon?
Nobody. The entire buildup of this relatively remains the same. It's Kanyon going after Buff for being a mama's boy. He is attacking him week after week after, what the fuck was the pay-per-view before? Bash at the Beach. Since Bash at the Beach, Chris Kanyon has been attacking Buff and making a mockery of him, calling him a mama's boy, until week 3, where Chris Kanyon takes it another step up, and he kidnaps Judy Bagwell. Conspiracy theory, we ain't doing this again, Jimmy. Chris Kanyon will abduct Judy Bagwell. We do not see Kanyon or Judy on the 4th Nitro going into the pay-per-view. Buff Bagwell is going around the arena. He is asking anybody and everybody he can, have you seen my mom? Have you seen Kanyon? He gets to Russo, and Russo's like, no, I haven't seen him, bro. But what I will tell you, bro, is that on Sunday, it is going to be you versus Kanyon in a Judy Bagwell in a shark cage match. Buff Bagwell is irate, storms out of the office, and all you hear is glass shatter. You hear glass shatter as the camera pans out. Chris Kanyon was waiting outside of the office and attacked Buff Bagwell. Threw him through a window. That is the build-up for Kanyon and Buff Bagwell.
And this was a Judy Bagwell in a shark cage match?
Shark cage, because fuck the pole, fuck the goddamn forklift. We're putting her in a shark cage. Second match on the card is Vampiro versus Sting in a Dark Carnival death match. We have not seen Sting since he got lit on fire at Great American Bash. That was the pay-per-view before Bash at the Beach. Yep. So we have not seen Sting since. After Bash at the Beach, the first Nitro we will see a bloodied Muta. Backstage, nobody knows who attacked him. All we see is the black bat laying in the background of Muta laying in a pool of blood. Second week, we now see the Demon in a very similar situation. This time the Demon is more crucified up against a fence outside with the bat placed in said fence. Week 3, Vampiro is looking for who he assumes is Sting. Calling card has been left there. Lights go out. We still don't see Sting, but we cut to another segment. When we come back to Vampiro later in the night, he is also laid in a pool of blood, black baseball bat in the background. The final week of Nitro, Vampiro calls out Sting as he has attacked all 3 members of the Dark Carnival at this point in time. Vampiro demands that Sting meets him at New Blood Rising in a Dark Carnival death match. Since he wants to leave people in pools of blood, he's going to drink Stings. Booking for that match, we get Sting versus Vampiro at the pay-per-view. 3-way tag match. Ray and Hoovy, Jindrak and O'Hare versus Chronic. This is started by, I'm rebooking.
What was that match again? Jindrak
3-way tag title match. It is Ray and Hoovy versus Jindrak and O'Hare versus Chronic.
Okay.
This is going to start because I'm going to basically rebook the tag match of Bash at the Beach. It will be Chronic versus Jindrak and O'Hare. Filthy Animals attack them, take the belts. We get that whole storyline starting at Bash at the Beach. Chronic, still the rightful tag champs, are going after Ray, Hoovy, Conan, and by God,
Filthy Animals.
So for the next few weeks, we get a tag match between Ray and Hoovy and Chronic. Ray and Hoovy lose by disqualification, but they still sneak away with the belts. Jindrak and O'Hare, they get a shot in Ray and Hoovy. Tigress and Disco Inferno are the reasons for the disqualification there. Again, Ray and Hoovy are keeping the titles. Chronic and Jindrak and O'Hare basically corner the entire stable of Filthy Animals the next week on Nitro and beat the holy horse shit out of them. Jindrak and O'Hare and Chronic seem on the same page because they have been screwed out of the tag titles. Chronic are still the rightful tag champions, so they take their belts off of the withered corpses of the Filthy Animals. Filthy Animals go to the commissioner, Ernest the Cat Miller. Completely forgot that was a storyline, by the way. And they basically offer their services to protect Ernest the Cat Miller as he's been dealing with his own personal issues with Muda and the Dark Carnival. So they promise to protect him. That match between Ernest the Cat Miller and Muda happens the Monday Nitro before New Blood Rising. And the Filthy Animals protect and help Ernest the Cat win his match. This allows the Filthy Animals to have a legitimate shot for the tag team championships for helping Ernest the Cat versus the rightful number 1 contenders Jindrak and O'Hare and the champions Chronic. Lance Storm versus Great Muta, Canadian Championship match. The entire buildup of this is Lance Storm will beat people like Billy Kidman. Lance Storm is going to beat a Juventud Guerrero. Lance Storm basically beats 3 opponents in a row for the Canadian title and is like, I want a real non-American challenger for my Canadian championship at New Blood Rising. Americans have treated me like crap the entire time I've been champion. I've been ridiculed. I've been mocked. Non-American challenge me for my title at New Blood Rising in my home country of Canada. Muda's music hits. We get a face-off, and Lance Storm gets misted, and that is how that build-up happens. My quickest and probably weakest build-up. Other than the next match, which is Steiner, Nash, and Gorg. What was that, Nick?
For the sake of booking, you can say his name.
Goldberg. And yeah, this is how I wrote this out.
Sorry, why don't we say his name?
Because it's Gorg.
Fair enough.
In my notes, I wrote, fuck me running, take the booking, or take the L on the booking, and just book the match. Booking stays the same for this shit storyline. Main event, is Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett versus Fit Finlay for the WCW title. Booker T beat Jeff Jarrett for the WCW title at Bash at the Beach. So, the Monday Nitro after Bash at the Beach, Booker T goes out, lays out an open challenge saying, I'm a fighting champion. I will face anybody in that locker room. Fit Finlay's music hits. Fit Finlay comes down to the ring, and they have their match. Unfortunately, this match will get thrown out after Jeff Jarrett attacks Fit Finlay, making him the winner by disqualification. Then he hits Booker T with the guitar, basically laying scorched earth after losing his title. The next week, Finlay's pissed off. You cost me my title match, you asshole. Jeff Jarrett versus Fit Finlay in the main event for week 2. This match ends after the scene where Jeff Jarrett pulls Booker T's wife over the barricade and hits her with a guitar. Jeff Jarrett is easily getting his ass handed to him by Fit Finlay. So he goes out of the ring, grabs the guitar, and and pushes Finlay away until he hits Booker T's wife with the guitar. This brings Booker T out, attacks Jeff Jarrett. Fit Finlay, not going to be a third wheel here, is going to attack both men. We basically get a crazy wild brawl with all 3 men until Jeff Jarrett attacked both men with the chair. Week 3, Jeff Jarrett demands his championship rematch. Unfortunately, Fit Finlay's got some words for that. You ran away from me. You cost me my title match. Vince Russo, with Booker T basically dragging him by the collar, goes out there, throws Vince Russo out there and says, I want both men for my title at New Blood Rising. Tired of this. My wife got brought into this. I want to settle this. Vince Russo says, okay, contract signing next week. Next week, we've got Booker T, we've got Jarrett, we've got Finlay. 3 sides of the ring, security guards all around. We know how this goes. All 3 men sign the contract, and the moment Booker T finishes the dot, he sets the booklet down, flips the table, and all hell breaks loose. The final Monday Nitro leading into New Blood Rising has all 3 men being restrained by talent, by security, by backstage crew. We finally made it to New Blood Rising. Dear God. First match. Judy Bagwell in a shark cage. The pay-per-view opens up with a wide shot of the arena. They already got Judy Bagwell suspended up above the ring in a shark cage as Canyon is in the ring with the microphone, running down the audience, running down Marcus Bagwell for being a mama's boy, and taking a few shots at the fact that he's impressed the cage holds Judy Bagwell. Buff Bagwell storms to the ring, and the match starts hot. The reason I have this match going on first, both of these men can bring fucking dynamite to a show. So we get high-flying spots. We get Buff Bagwell doing a plancha to the outside. We get Chris Canyon's innovative offense. We get... what the fuck was that move that he did? He did the Alabama Slam into like a power bomb position. I'm going to have him do that off the second rope. And Buff Bagwell still kicks out. Diamond Dallas Page's music hits. And down comes David Arquette. David Arquette comes down with a steel chair. And as Marcus Bagwell takes control of the match, Canyon rolls out of the ring, distracting the ref. Arquette hits Buff in the back with the chair. To absolutely no reaction because David Arquette weighs less than I do sopping wet. Buff Bagwell turns around, grabs the chair from Arquette, cracks him over the head, one good one, turns around into a springboard super kick from Canyon. Canyon gets in the ring. I didn't hit him with the chair. Picks him up, and then hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, Judy Bagwell is now Chris Canyon's manager because that's what would have happened. Buff Bagwell, Canyon, they put down a barn burner to open the show, but it kind of falls a little bit due to the ending. Sting versus Vampiro in a dark carnival death match. The ropes have been laced with barbed wire. There are tables. You see panes of glass. You see a bag being suspended from, one of those Vince Russo poles. We all know what's in the bag. The match starts with Vampiro going to the ring, waiting for Sting. Sting's music hits, and from the rafters, he gets lowered directly in front of Vampiro. The match starts hot. The match starts heavy. Both men trading very heavy right hands. Irish whip attempts going into the ropes, but both Sting and Vampiro slowing themselves to a stop or grabbing the ropes to stop themselves. Until Sting hits a snap suplex into the ropes. Vampiro takes this back first, and you just see the barbed wire tearing right into his back. The color is showing early. The color is showing very heavy because his back is a mess. Sting does not let up. He grabs Vampiro and he pushes his mouth over the ropes, puts his knee over the back of his head. We're seeing a much more violent, aggressive Sting here. And this continues the entire match. A lot of people were expecting this to be a back and forth. But once Sting started getting into it, Sting starts demolishing Vampiro. We finally see Sting go to the top of the ropes. He grabs the black bag from the pole, spills the thumbtacks all throughout the center of the ring, grabs Vampiro by those shitty-ass dreads that he had at this point in time, sets him up for the Scorpion Death Drop into the tacks. 1, 2, 3. Sting wins his return match, not just to pay-per-view, but to TV, because I did not show Sting once during my weekly booking. Ray and Hoovy versus Jindrak and O'Hare versus Chronic. Nick, how much time do I have left?
12 minutes, mate.
12 minutes, okay. Good, because this match is not going to take me long to talk about. Ray and Hoovy are in here to get thrown around by Jindrak and O'Hare and by Chronic. The power moves, the insane offense that both of those teams can provide are going to be amplified by the fact that Ray and Hoovy can fly and go anywhere as needed. Ray and Hoovy take such a beating in the first portion of the match that they are basically taken out. Jindrak and O'Hare versus Chronic take the forefront. This being a three-way tag team match. Conan, Disco, they enter the ring and they try to level the playing field. They attack both teams to no avail. Disco gets his ass beat just because I wanted to see Disco get his ass beat. But Conan takes an insane bump, which also furthers, him not walking as well now. Takes a power bomb over the ropes to the outside of the ring from Chronic. Ray and Hoovy finally sneak back in, and they get back to work. With the distraction, they easily get Jindrak and O'Hare out of the ring, and they try to get a quick roll-up win on Chronic, but to no avail. Chronic is just too powerful. Chronic is just way too over at this point in time. Hoovy takes the finish. Chronic is still your WCW Tag Team Champions. On to the next match. Lance Storm. On to the next match. Lance Storm versus Muta. The crowd is hot for this one. Everybody loves Lance Storm. Everybody loves Muta. Bret Hart's music hits and the fucking lid blows off the arena. We have one of the best technical matches that we could possibly have on this card, which is not at all what this Canadian Championship match was. So, between exchanges of single leg Boston Crabs, strike exchanges, Muta still showing that even in the year 2000, he was starting to get older. That bald spot was starting to show. Him and Lance Storm were keeping up pace for pace, move for move. Muta goes for the mist, but hits Bret Hart instead of Lance Storm. This allows Lance Storm to use the belt to crack Muta over the head, getting the cheap 1-2-3 victory with a blind Bret Hart. On the show, we had Bret Hart giving Lance Storm flowers for absolutely nothing. On this show,
Blind Bret Hart. That is hilarious.
Bret Hart was going to give Lance Storm his flowers because he thought he beat Muta the right way. That'll be with the crowd booing, Bret's going to be very confused. Nash versus Steiner versus Gorg. Fuck me running. This match is nothing but power move, power move, power move. Finisher, finisher, finisher. We have Scott Steiner putting Kevin Nash in the Steiner recliner, dead center of the ring. Gorg hits the spear. He goes and gets Steiner up for the jackknife. And Larry Zbyszko slides into the ring with the golf club. Larry Zbyszko cracks Gorg over the back of the head with said golf club, knocking him out. Steiner falls to the floor. Nash gets to his feet, hits a jackknife. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Nash is your winner. Larry Zbyszko holds up Kevin Nash's hand and shows a Wolfpack shirt. Main event, Booker T, Jeff Jarrett, Fit Finlay. What is my timestamp? Because this one might take a minute.
Seven minutes, mate.
Okie dokie. Me and Cap talked about this earlier. This match was good as is. I'm throwing Fit Finlay in there for the entire reason. For the entire reason. One, I love Fit Finlay. He loves to fight. And this is exactly what this match is going to be. Booker T and Jeff Jarrett have their legitimate beef. Fit Finlay has been screwed every chance he's got this last month. So he's trying to beat his pound of flesh off of each man. And that's what happens. Both of the men that were supposed to be in this match, Jarrett and Booker T, try to focus on each other. But at every single solitary second, Fit Finlay gets in there and either breaks up the count, stops the big move from happening, or interjects himself. Jeff Jarrett eventually goes under the ring, grabs El Caban, grabs his guitar. As he goes in the ring, Fit Finlay is in there with the shillelagh. Both men have their weapon. Booker T is nowhere to be seen. So, guitar, much bigger than shillelagh. Finlay, much smarter than Jarrett. Jarrett swings the guitar, gets ducked, and gets his hamstring cracked with that shillelagh. Finlay then goes for the cloverleaf. He got it in. He's got it locked in. Booker T, seeing his opening, grabs the guitar that is laying on the floor, cracks Finlay over the back of the head with it. And as Jarrett is wobbling up to his knees, hits him with the scissor kick. 1, 2, 3. Booker T wins. That is New Blood Rising.
Not bad at all, Matthew, with 5 minutes to spare.
I tried my absolute fucking best.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed. Let's sort this green out. Okay, gents. Ready? You're up first. What are you scoring him and why?
What? Oh, wait. Is that out of 5?
I can hear you. Out of 5.
We're out of 5 on this.
Out of 5 stars. The new scoring system, remember?
I'll give him a 3. A 3. I'll say a 3. Where's my notes on Memento?
I can outright say
So
this
for
is
the build
definitely
up,
not my
I
best.
like. Actually, no. Let's go straight to the pay-per-view, man. I'm back. Cool. Yeah. So I like first things first. The Judy match, the Judy Bagwell. I like that you got rid of the forklift in a shark cage. Would have made a lot more sense and would have actually added something to the match itself. Lance Storm versus Muta. I liked the putting over Lance Storm with the chicanery, including Bret Hart. Gives Storm a solid win, as well as that would have been a cracking match. Chronic, I'm a big Chronic fan, innit? Like Chronic,
I never would have guessed, Remy.
I had no idea. I feel like 3 of the 4 of us are big Chronic fans.
It was Raph. I was a Raph fan for obvious reasons. I was a massive Raph fan, innit? And so yeah, Chronic, you won me over with that one. I'm not going to say too much. I do not give a flying fuck about Fit Finley in the world heavyweight picture, bro, at all. Like if I saw that, I would have probably turned the channel. So the main event for me, I would have literally zoned out. That's why I said 3 out of 5.
Okay, and just a quick one. Jimmy, Uncle Dave's influence is not crept into the Wrestling Legion. I needed a scoring system. 5 stars seems the best way to do it. It saves all the points. It saves me having to do a load of maths. It's much easier this way. I'm lazy. Let me have this one. Cap, what are you giving him and why?
Oh, I have my notes. I have thoughts. Matthew, Cap hates gimmicks. You over gimmicked the fuck out of this pay-per-view.
Have you seen this show?
Yes, yes, many times. I was expecting you to do.
He paid for it.
Yes, dearly. That's 3 hours of my life. My childhood. 6 matches, 3 are triple threats, 2 are gimmicked out the wazoo. I tend to think triple threats, multi-man matches are a cop out for not putting together a good story between 2 people. That's just a personal thing. Some people love the triple threat multi-man. That's just opinion of mine. Sting in a goddamn death match at 40 whatever years old. Come on, Maddie.
Again, TNA run.
Again, didn't watch.
Again,
like the
wasn't in TNA at this point.
No.
I have good notes. Liked the finish though. I liked the finish of the match. I hated the gimmick, but Sting and Vampiro did need their blow off here, and you did the right finish, so I did like the finish there. Again, I hate triple threat matches. Oh, this is the tag team match. I hate triple threat matches, but I like the setup here that you did with the tag matches, because Chronic versus Jindrak and O'Hare, just those 2 teams, that would have been like Road Warriors versus the head shrinkers. It's just it's Rock meeting Rock. Throwing in Ray and Hoovy, I really like that because they can add that element to where this isn't just 4 big guys just power moving each other. Like the finish, Chronic was hot. Keeping them tag champions, I like that. Again, hate the setup. Liked them. Hate the setup, triple threat, but like that who you put in as the third. Liked the finish. So good. Then we get to the U.S. title match. Bret Hart in Canada. You'd have to be a goddamn imbecile to not use him there. You used him. You used him very well. Loved putting Storm and Muta. Mike Awesome would have been a potential there. I could have even seen Fit Finley fitting into that, but I got to see. I'm trying to visualize this as a fan. I got to see Lance Storm versus Muta in a U.S. title match. Yes, Muta was aging at this point, but Muta still had gas. He could still have put on a good match.
He faced Ernest Miller on this card.
Yes, he did. Like the fit. Again, here's the pattern, Maddie. I'm hating these setups, but I'm liking the finishes. You're giving me matches that normally I wouldn't watch, but at least the finishes I'm really digging. You're putting over the right people. The Lance Storm Muta match, that got your highest score on this one. Then we get to this. Just because I'm friends with Larry Zbyszko doesn't mean he needs to interject in a triple threat match, especially in this god awful balderdash of bollocks and bullshit. I didn't tell you this because I didn't want to give you ideas. Here was what I was hoping you would do. Finish the trilogy between Nash and Goldberg. They had Starrcade 98. Nash went over. They had Great American Bash at the Beach.
Spring Stampede 99.
Well, they also had the match for Scott Hall's contract with Steiner that Goldberg interfered in.
Which was at Bash on the Beach.
Yes. Yeah. So what I would have preferred to have seen here was Nash versus Goldberg, just those two, with some kind of Scott Hology. Either he shows up in disguise or something happens where Nash goes over and we get Scott Hall back. I would have liked to have seen that. You were working with god-awful horse shit in this match. It was pathetic. The match, not you, the match.
Oh, no. Understand.
Like I told you earlier today, there are times when you find yourself in no-win situations. This was a no-win situation unless you had done what I wanted to see and you didn't. But still, you weren't working with much. So I'm not giving you a full pass. I'm giving you about a half a pass here. Main event, Booker T and Jeff Jarrett, the rematch from Bash at the Beach, the build-up was perfect. Booker and Jarrett worked great together. Fit Finley, I love you, Fit. The Belfast Bruiser, the guy who broke Steve Regal's nose at Uncensored 96. Fit, I love you. You're the spare prick at the wedding here. Exactly. You could have left this match alone, and I would have thought higher of your book than what you did. That match was the one on the card that stood out like, okay, finally at the end of the night, we got a world title match between two great workers, and it was good. So your score, I'm giving you 2.5 out of 5. You had a chance to really make a great card and didn't quite happen. Though I will say, in comparison to the last time you booked, your finishes are getting better. I'm liking how you're getting better with finishes. You are by far the best guy when it comes to tag teams that sort of revolve in and out of this whole fantasy booking chamber pot, I guess, that Nick has put together with all of us. But as far as tag teams, you are the absolute best at booking tag team matches, and you showed it again here. At first I thought, oh, what the fuck is he doing? Oh, wait, he did something really cool. I liked that. So 2.5 out of 5. You're getting damn good at finishes. Just cut back on the gimmicks and the horse hockery and the multi-man.
All I will say, Matty, is goddamn you love triple threat matches.
Yes.
You like triple threat matches.
I know you do.
Hey, you guys will be happy. You guys
Point
will be
one.
happy.
Point one.
You guys will
I
be
love
happy.
Fit Finley,
There's
but he
none
has
next time.
absolutely no place in a World Heavyweight Championship match in WCW. None whatsoever. Zero. That boy should not be put anywhere near gold. I love Fit, but he has no business in a World Heavyweight Championship match.
Thank you.
You had fucking Chronic go over, which I'm sorry. No.
You're the only
what? Chronic was hotter than hellfire.
The whole point of fantasy booking is supposed to change what happens. Not the same people with the same
I
titles.
did change what happened. Did you
I tell
see
this
the
to every
fatal four
every
they
single
had?
month. It doesn't matter. Chronic still won that match.
And Chronic went on to fucking defend against Muda and Vampiro on the same night.
Yeah, which also sucked. All right. All right. However, Sting. You know I'm picky about Sting.
I do know you're picky about Sting.
Having Sting in a match with the beloved Vampiro was necessary. I will give you that. I like the fact that you changed things up. I did not like the fact that you involved a pole in this match.
Vince Russo.
Right? I don't care. Vince Russo, you're
Fire Vince Russo. Do it. I would have done fire his ass.
So, all right. This is what I tell everybody all the time. You're booking, not Vince Russo. So, unfortunately, you lose points for the poll. So, I'm giving you 2.5 stars.
I'll take 2.
So that is you get 8 stars for this round. That is a record low. That is a record low for Wrestling with Your Thoughts round 1.
Hey, I'm looking for.
I hate to join the Simon Cowell of our team down here, but you could have done better. I will admit the booking of the tag match was great. I just hated the finish. I fought a shark cage and a pole on the same pay-per-view. You're insane.
I am insane.
However,
just because one dipshit was booking doesn't mean you do it. You fire the dipshit and you bring in someone who knows what the fuck they're doing.
Just you guys wait to see how insane I am.
Right.
Oh, trust me, I've gone on vacation with you. I know how insane you are, and I like it. Chronic was. I had to disagree with Nick. Chronic, for whatever reason, they were the Goldberg of tag teams, but they were over. They were over. They were one of the few draws on that card that people really got.
Brian Clark was over. Brian Adams was dead as a fish in a barrel.
Look at the Skyscrapers. They were over. Everyone fucking hated Danny Spivey, but they loved Sid or Taker, Mark Callis.
And I shall bring up our champion's comment.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Wait
till you see my WrestleMania book.
Matty, you've got 20 minutes to redeem yourself. All right.
So that was 8 out of 15.
8 out of 15. Matty, are you ready? Your time for WrestleMania 4 starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
WrestleMania 4, the Grand Tournament. Nick gave this to us because he thought he was funny. So, I actually put together 16 of the best people on the roster at the time. The matches go as follows for round 1. Randy Savage versus... Oh, timeout. There's a timeout.
One quick thing. If you're going to list the matches out, do it just so I can write these down. So I'm don't go just blitzkrieg. Just give me a few minutes here.
Yes.
Right. Go, but just not blitzkrieg, so I can write it down.
Round 1's matches are Randy Savage versus Greg Valentine. Roddy Piper versus Junkyard Dog. Bad News Brown versus Ricky Steamboat. Coco Beware versus Rick Rude. Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. Ted DiBiase versus Jake the Snake Roberts. The Ultimate Warrior versus the Iron Sheik. And Haku versus King Harley Race. That's our round 1 matches. Let's get into them. Randy Savage beats Greg Valentine after a decent match. Doesn't go too long, but first match of a 16-man tournament. Randy Savage wins after a flying elbow about 5 minutes into the match. Roddy Piper versus the Junkyard Dog. Junkyard Dog is headbutting the shit out of Roddy Piper. But Roddy Piper finds a way. He cinches in that sleeper hold and does not let go. Roddy Piper wins. Bad News Brown versus Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat goes for his flying crossbody. gets rolled through and held tight because Bad News Brown's a big motherfucker. He gets a surprise roll-up win on Ricky Steamboat. Coco Beware versus Rick Rude. This is one of the more athletic matches of the tournament. Both men know how to work, what they're doing. Rick Rude is going for the Rude Awakening, and as he goes for that rotation, Coco spins it around, lifts him up quick, and hits a brainbuster. Coco Beware moves on to the next round. Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. This match ends because Hulk Hogan can't keep his shit together. Andre the Giant walks out and says, fuck this match. I'm just going to let Hogan win. Hogan follows after him and attacks him. Both men lose due to a double count out, leaving one person with a second round bye. Ted DiBiase versus Jake Roberts. Ted DiBiase tries everything. He gets him in the $1 Million Dream. He rolls him up. He puts his feet up on the ropes. Jake Roberts will not go down, and he doesn't. Jake Roberts hits the DDT, moves on to the next round. Ultimate Warrior versus the Iron Sheik. One of the worst matches of the tournament, unfortunately. Neither men at this point really could work, so I put Warrior over here. Just because it's the Warrior. You will see why later. You will see why later, damn it. Haku versus King Harley Race. In a match of two legitimate badasses, we get one badass standing above the other. More than likely due to politics. Harley Race goes over King Haku here. The next round, we have Roddy Piper versus Coco Beware. We got Bad News Brown versus the Ultimate Warrior. Randy Savage versus Jake Roberts. Yes. And the person getting the second round bye is a King Harley Race. In the second round matches, Coco Beware hits that brutal brainbuster. But Piper kicks out. Piper, once again, he cinches in that sleeper hold. And he falls on top of Coco, like flattens him out to the point where the referee has to call it because Coco's not moving.
You got a thing for Roddy Piper choking out the blacks, don't you, racist man?
Of course you have to go there, you dickhead.
Where's your straw hat? So for those of you that don't know, Matty has a straw hat, and when he puts it on, it ain't
a straw hat, but
we've given him the gimmick that he's racist, Matty. He instantly becomes a yeehaw cow. Like, and that's why he's got Roddy Piper choking out all the POCs, ladies and gents. That's all that. Sorry, if you don't mind, Matthew.
It is straight up racist, mate.
It is straight up racist.
Straight up racist.
Why aren't you on my side, Nick?
I'm the whitest guy in this room, and that is just straight up racist.
I can't believe you guys. Next match. Bad News Brown versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Can you take the hat off, please? I feel uncomfortable.
Bad News Brown versus the Ultimate Warrior. Bad News Brown squashes the Ultimate Warrior. Racist! What the hell?
He just did that. I'm not racist. I had a black guy go over.
I can't believe you guys. Bad News Brown wins over Ultimate Warrior. I can't believe y'all. Randy Savage versus Jake Roberts. These two had a great rivalry throughout their career. I don't remember if it happened at this point in time because this is 1980 but these two boys had chemistry. So you put them out there, give them a good 8 to 10 minutes, let them tell a story. Savage goes for the elbow and misses. Jake Roberts, quick as a snake, gets up, hits that DDT. 1, 2, 3. Jake Roberts moves on. We now have the finals, or the semifinals, which is Randy's. Hold on. Yeah, which is Jake the Snake Roberts versus Bad News Brown, and Roddy Piper versus Harley Race. Roberts versus Bad News. This match is very slow, very methodical, but each move is intense. By this point, Jake Roberts' ribs have been taped up. So Bad News Brown sees that as a weakness. You see bear hugs. You see backbreakers. Bad News does everything he can to break Jake Roberts down. But all it takes is 1 second. We get a quick DDT from Jake Roberts out of desperation. 1, 2, 3. Jake Roberts moves on to the finals of the WWF World Heavyweight Title Tournament. The final semifinal match is Roddy Piper versus King Harley Race. Youth versus experience here. King Harley Race, former NWA champion forever, has a phenomenal match with Roddy Piper, exchanging blows. Harley Race hits a pile driver onto the already hurt neck of Roddy Piper. Harley Race goes for the pin. 1, 2. With an inch of his life, Roddy Piper gets that shoulder up. Kicks out at 2.999. And Harley Race sees that. Okay. Goes to the top rope. And he goes for his diving headbutt. To which Piper rolls out of the way of. He stands up. He gets King Harley Race up. And he hits him with a pile driver of his own. Pinning him for a 1, 2, 3. The finals are set. It is Jake Roberts versus Roddy Piper. Co-main event. Because we're not just going to have the tournament going on. We got the Honky Tonk Man versus Davey Boy Smith for the Intercontinental Championship. Two personalities who got over well with the crowd. Honky Tonk Man being one of the most hated people at the time. Davey Boy Smith being able to draw a reaction from almost any crowd. It's not the longest match, but it's a fun match. You get Davey Boy Smith in the final sequence going up for that running power slam. He gets him up on his shoulder, gets about to the middle point of the ring. Honky Tonk pushes himself off, right into the turnbuckle, hits a shake, rattle, and roll. Honky Tonk Man retains his Intercontinental Championship. The ring continues, baby. And we get the main event. Jake Roberts versus Roddy Piper for the WWF Heavyweight Championship. After a grueling tournament, Jake Roberts, who has now defeated Ted DiBiase, Randy Macho Man Savage, and Bad News Brown, is taking on Hot Rod Roddy Piper, who defeated Junkyard Dog, Coco Beware, and King Harley Race. Two men who, in WWE history, never won the title. So, we have two of the best strategists going into matches. Two people who their minds are talked about all the time for how good they are with wrestling matches. We've got Roddy Piper, clearly who's got some neck issues after tonight. We've got Jake Roberts. His ribs are fucked. Both men are clearly injured. Both men know their opponents are injured. This match is very methodical, very technical, but very brutal. How dare you? I am not racist. How dare you, Remy?
What? You just need to accept this, Fat Mike. Continue. You have 9 minutes.
Boy, I got 5 minutes.
9
okay.
minutes.
9. Oh, I've got plenty of time. Okay. Give me a second. Both men know their opponents are hurt. Badly. Jake Roberts' finisher is the DDT. Head and neck. Roddy Piper is known for using the sleeper hold. With bad ribs, it's hard for Roberts to breathe. Both men's finisher could take their opponent out in a second. So the match is very technical, but very brutal. This is the only match on the card to see blood, because by the end of the match, Piper hits the corner of the turnbuckle and is a crimson mask. Absolutely covered. Jake Roberts, playing the role of the heel in this match, he covers himself in Piper's blood. These two men are beating the shit out of each other. This match goes for about 45 to 50 minutes. Considering this has been a long tournament, both of these men are kicking out of everything each other's got. But not one person has hit a finisher yet. The finishing sequence of this match, after 45 minutes, Jake Roberts gets a hold of Piper's wrist, and he hits one short arm clothesline. He has not let go of that wrist. Pulls a bloodied Piper up and hits one more short arm clothesline. Roberts, clearly struggling for air, bounces off the ropes, swings his arm around, and signals for the DDT. Picks Piper up one more time, gets him firmly in between his arm for the DDT, and right before he goes down, Piper drives him right into the turnbuckle post, hitting those ribs up against it. Piper then pulls themselves to the middle of the ring, counters it, and gets into the sleeper hold. Jake Roberts never taps out, but Jake Roberts cannot answer a 3, meaning that the winner of the vacant WWF World Heavyweight Championship is Roddy Piper.
And time with 4 minutes to spare. Okay, let's get set back in. Right, give me a second and go back to this. I don't know where the other judges gone. Sav, start with you. What'd you give him and why?
I'm going to be pretty useless with this round because, funnily enough, one thing I actually haven't done is gone back and watched a lot of olden wrestling. Golden era wrestling does not appeal to me at all. I don't like the ring cycle. I don't like nothing about it. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I try to take it in a level where I know of I know all the wrestlers, obviously, but in terms of like how they work in ring and whatnot, I've had to just go solely by it. Put it this way, you booking WrestleMania 4 was basically you booking WrestleMania 4 like it's never been booked for me. Do you get? So,
Did I do a good job other than you calling me racist, ass hat?
Mate,
just bro.
Carry on, lads. Got business go.
Yeah, man, it's not even worth. There you go. Fair enough. He's admitted it. He's accepted it. Yeah. So all the first round matches hardly meant donkey to me, bro. I'll be so real with you. I'm just gonna go straight to the main event. Roddy Piper versus Jake Roberts. I do know about them two individually. Funnily enough, I watched Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart the other day. The one where he was fighting against turning fully heel and whatnot. It's funny because the most I saw of Bret Hart was in his WTW days, in which he once had a match with Bret Hart in which he won with a suplex, and for some reason Bret Hart had his legs crossed instead of extending them, and the match, it was random as shit. So that was one of my earliest memories of a Roddy Piper match. But after watching his mannerisms in ring, going and watching a couple of his clips, I can see how that match would have played out, and the way he booked it, that match would have sold me. Like, even if the rest of the card was to have disappointed me, I would have tuned in for that match. So I'm gonna give you, and this is, you got to take it with a pinch of salt because, as I said, I don't really have much experience. Plus, you're racist. 2.75.
If I take the hat off, can I get 3?
No.
Take the hat off.
Right, I'm going to go next, Matty, because unlike our dear friend Remy there and Captain down below also, I know a shitload about Golden Era Wrestling. The fact that you put Jake Roberts
WCW,
in a World Heavyweight title match that he never would have wanted to be in was a brave choice. Because to quote Jake, titles are there to make stars. If you don't need them, don't use them.
But did he go over?
No. As I said, it was a brave choice. Also, Roddy Piper wanted to go his entire WWF career without winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Just so you know. However, I liked it. I like the fact that you put Piper over. I thought the tournament you put together had some good matches, except, and I'm not being racist when I say this, Sam, Coco Beware has no place in a World Heavyweight Championship match.
How dare you, sir?
Sorry.
I a million percent agree with you, bro.
Right, there we go.
Coco Beware was one of the best workers they had then.
He may have been a good worker, but you didn't know his wristwatch from a wrist lock.
He wasn't over like that, bro.
And?
He was never over like that. He was never been put in a World Heavyweight Championship. You had Dynamite Kid.
Dynamite Kid was hurt.
You are booking a show that has against 2 English judges, and you have the one Englishman on the card lose to Honky Tonk Man. Are you insane?
Right. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You want to like quarry favour with the judges.
Look at
you
his
have
hat.
the Englishman win. Right? You have the Englishman win. However, I understood why he left Honky with his reign intact. It needs to be done for historical reasons. It was better than the original tournament. I will give you that. But you still kept Hogan versus Andre. Why? That match should have disappeared into the ether. There had no reason for it to exist. Andre couldn't walk at this point in time. Never mind work. This was the perfect opportunity to remove him from it. You are getting 3 stars from me, and think yourself lucky. Cap,
I mean, 3 stars after getting 2.5 last time.
Cap, fire away.
I have notes. I have thoughts. Savage Valentine, love it. Piper JYD, love it. Brown and Steamboat.
You would have Steamboat over.
I would have preferred Steamboat go over, but as the tournament progressed, I got why you did it. So while I didn't like who went over, I liked why, so I'm not deducting points there. Coco and Rude, Matthew. Coco Beware. I love Coco. Ravishing Rick Rude, one of the greatest workers of all time, whose career was cut short by at least 10 years with that neck injury.
Yeah.
Coco going over here, that gets. I when I'm looking at matches, I put a check mark by a good match and a good finish. I put an X by a bad match and a bad finish. That gets a big fucking X, Matthew. Yeah. Andre and Hulk. I mean, it's WrestleMania 4. I know they had to be involved. I'm giving that one sort of an equal sign. I don't like that you repeated.
Well, technically, I think the finish was a double DQ as opposed to a double.
Well, no, Hulk got a bye. It was. I mean, I get that you did it. I love that you did the double count out DQ, whatever. So it at least gave Andre an out, and it got Hulk out of the tournament. So I'm fine with that. That gets it's not a plus, not a minus. You did your job. DiBiase Roberts. I would have liked to have seen DiBiase go over someone else and go deeper in the tournament, but still you put Roberts over. I always thought these two had great chemistry. Love that. Matthew, Jim Hellwig, and Iron Sheik.
Trust me, whenever I put the list together and I saw that those were the last 2 names, I was like, fuck me running.
Of your 8 first-round matches, this was one of 2 that got a big fat fucking X.
I completely fucking understand that. I gave it an X myself. That's why I was like, the worst match of the card.
I don't mind you involving Warrior in the tournament, given his popularity as it was rising at the time. But the goddamn Iron Sheik, as much as I love Sheiky, Nick said Andre could barely walk, Sheik could barely move. Haku and Race, I'm more in love with the idea than I am with the match. I love the idea of two old school badasses like this just beating the shit out of each other. Race going over Haku. I mean, I gave it a check mark. I'm kind of indifferent here. Some notes I was making. Matthew, you are getting damn good at finishes. I want to compliment you. This is, of the shows I've watched you fantasy book, you have done better with finishes tonight than you have in anything else you've ever done. I am loving how good you are getting at finishes. Rude was too good to not put over. All respect to Coco. I love the fact that you kept with the premise nobody kicks out of a DDT from Jake Roberts. Nobody. I love that you kept that.
Piper never took it.
I have a cardinal rule that I want to ask you about. When you were putting this tournament together, did you have your winner of the tournament and book it backwards, or did you just have your names and book it forwards?
So originally I put my names together. I looked at it and I was like, I know what the finish I want for it to be. And I knew that I wanted it to be two people that throughout history never won the title, but people always thought they should. I understand I remember Robert's, statement on it. I never knew that Piper never wanted to win the title. But again, both of those guys I know are worthy of a world title run at that point in time.
So you had your guys and then you booked your tournament rather than having your guy and then booking the tournament.
I had my guys, and then I saw of those 16 who I wanted to put at the end, and then I, in my head, played out the match.
And it showed. Okay. I mean that in a bad way. When you're booking a tournament, you start with your winner and you book backwards. Now, where was I getting here? I did love seeing Davey and Honky. I told you earlier when you said you were putting this match on the card, I love me some Davey Boy Smith. I always thought he was a far better version of Lex Luger. Luger was a guy who got into wrestling because he had no other option.
Lex.
Now, let me finish this comparison, Nick. You may like this. You may agree with this.
I understand it still.
I always saw Davey Boy as the better version of Lex. While both were bodybuilders, big dudes, Lex got into wrestling because Lex really had no other options. Davey Boy got into wrestling because he loved wrestling. He had a good head for the business, and he had a really damn good career, but it was cut short by, as I told Maddie, the gas, the sauce, and the candy. If you took those things out of Davey Boy's career, I think he would have had an even better career. I just love seeing Davey on this card in a title match against Honky. I like the finish. Again, Maddie, I love the finish. You're getting damn good at finishes. I'm loving it. Exceptionally well put together finals. I was not expecting this. I think the idea of going 45, 50 minutes after a long tournament like this, I think you could have done this same story in about 20 to 30. 20, 30, somewhere in there. I don't have a fucking stopwatch, but I would say somewhere in the 20 to 30 category.
We don't do stopwatches here. Excuse me, stopwatch.
Yeah. I was enthralled with this because I had once you started going through the finish, I didn't know where you were going, and I was a little bit hanging on the edge of my seat, like, what's he going to do here? That's good. When you've got me on the edge of my seat with a finish in a match between two guys that I didn't think was going to be there, and you're like, you got me in a good way. Piper going, you could, and to be honest here, whoever went over here, I was not going to subtract points on. I would have been fine with either guy going over here. Piper going over, I thought was excellent and long overdue, despite. And yes, Nick, you are correct. You're correct about Piper. You're correct about Roberts. I was loving the ride Maddie was taking us on in this tournament and the finals that we got to with two guys who never held the belt that both should have, never got to it. And again, Jake never held the title. He didn't need it. Piper never held the title. He didn't need it. It would just have been nice. It's like that. It's like that hood ornament on a Rolls Royce or a Cadillac. It's not necessary, but it's fucking nice.
Imagine Piper in MSG with the belt and the promo he'd cut.
Yes.
You don't throw stones at somebody armed with a machine gun.
You don't throw marbles. But anyway, you got it close enough. Stones or marbles.
Was it marbles? I thought it was stones.
Marbles. Anywho, I was really in debate here as to what score to give you. I had to deduct points for some hockey. I had to add points for some really awesome-y. So I took the two scores I thought were appropriate. I was thinking a 4 out of 5, and I was thinking a 3.7 out of 5. So I just combined them, divided by 2. So your score from the cap was a 3.875. I rounded up to a 3.9.
So closer to a 4.
Closer to a 4 than 2. So I'm giving this a 3.9 out of 5. I had to deduct some points for some bullshit that you did in there, but you paid off in the end with the finals, the finish. You had me on the edge of my seat, metaphorically. So I think that's the highest score I've ever given since I became a judge. So 3.9 out of 5.
To the three people here, I do have to ask you, because you're all older than I am. Would you have been okay with a Roddy Piper world title run after that?
Oh yeah.
100%, man. 100%.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you could have easily put the belt on Piper, and by SummerSlam or Rumble,
I feel like the person that's opinion matters here
gives you a 9.45 for round 2.
2.75 plus 3 plus 3.9, 9.65.
6.5, sorry. Right, which gives you a total of 8, 9.
Oh, Jimmy says he's got something to say about that.
9.65 plus 8.
Oh, we shall hear from the king.
So
that is 17.65 out of 30.
I was about to say the only person whose opinion really matters here this night, and I apologize to you.
Whoa! Are the 3 people on this screen? My champion has his opinion, and it will be taken invalid. But the opinions and the scores that matter are the ones you are being presented with. Never forget this.
See, that's why
now, moving on to round 3. Normally, this would be the round where Matty co-books against his opponent for ECW CyberSlam 98. Now, Matty, what I didn't tell you was this is my favorite ECW show.
So, I didn't tell you that I couldn't find a goddamn fucking clip of this show anywhere.
I know. It's because you can't. Because it was an internet exclusive in 1998.
What happened? No. I was about to say, because CyberSlam 98, or CyberSlam 97, 96 on the cock. CyberSlam 97, 98, 99 should be on the interweb. I could not find this fucking show anywhere.
You told me, I could have found it.
You're not going to find this show anywhere.
Remy, I went through your goddamn site that you send, and I couldn't find it. My wife saw me searching for 2 hours for this goddamn show. So let's go. I got a list of the roster. Give me a second to put together a 6-match card.
All right, Matty, you have 10 segments.
10 segments. Okay.
This is the rules. It would normally be 5 and 5, but you are presenting this on your own. So you have to give us 10 seconds. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to get ready. Remy, you got anything you want to plug?
Hi.
Did you really just say hi, motherfucker?
Right, in the meantime, folks, if you like what we do here at Wrestling Legion, if you enjoy the content we put out, please subscribe to the channel and join the Legion. It really helps us out. It's free, and it's the only way the YouTube algorithm knows we exist. I absolutely love everybody that tunes in for these shows. I basically do this to keep myself sane.
Nick, what year was this ECW show?
98.
1998.
Okay.
So,
What was I asked?
I'll give you a hint, Matty. I'll give you some hints. Shane Douglas was world heavyweight champion.
I don't need you to give me hints. I'm just going to book the best fucking pay-per-view I can mentally book.
Okay.
I don't give a shit
Let's
who's
go.
champion. I don't care who's what.
Then why didn't you take that approach with New Blood Rising? God damn it!
Fuck you, that's why.
There will be no bad mouthing of my judges.
Yeah, now you get
There will be no bad mouthing of my judges. These are professionals who are here to do a professional job. I expect you to act professionally in response.
Fine. I apologize. I hope
Thank
you
you.
stub your
You
toe so
still have
bad
a
that your
point
fucking
about
dog feels it.
Right. Are you ready?
Nick doesn't have a dog.
I got a cat. He will kick your ass.
I was just thinking of Simon Calloway of Susan Boyle sang the theme from Les Miserables. He's like, I knew from the moment you walked out on this stage.
Right, Matty, are you ready? You have 10 minutes to give me 10 segments. You have 10 minutes to give me 10 segments. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I got the easiest first segment. Joey Styles welcomes the crowd to CyberSlam 1998. We've got him in the center of the ring, welcoming the crowd, welcoming the audience. And from there, we get on to the first match, which will be Jerry Lynn versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay.
This is a complete clash of styles. Jerry Lynn versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Jerry Lynn tries all of his high-flying stuff. Bam Bam basically just bounces it off of him. It takes a good 5 to 10 minutes for Jerry Lynn to start chopping this giant down, getting him down. But it does not matter because, unfortunately, Bam Bam hits him with a massive clothesline. Goes up, hits the Bam Bam salt. That's the end of your match. Bam Bam goes over Jerry Lynn. Segment number 3. We've got... there's not a whole lot of people on this goddamn roster. The Blue World Order come out.
New Japan.
Did they have a deal at New Japan? Thank you so goddamn much.
I thought it'd be nice.
Who? Antonio Inoki versus fucking the Blue Meanie.
He's going to slap 7 fucking K's out of it.
He's going to beat the holy horse shit out of the Blue Meanie for 5 minutes. Put him in an ankle lock. Tap him out. And wave goodbye to the audience. Segment number 4. We've got Paul Heyman saying that could possibly be the worst match that he's ever seen on his product in his life. What happened? He has absolutely no idea. But Antonio Inoki went into business for himself. On to the next match. We've got Shane Douglas versus New Jack. Another clash of styles. Shane Douglas, the technical guy. Shane Douglas, the franchise. New Jack is just wanting to jump off of shit and hit people with a goddamn staple gun. So, this match goes exactly as you expected. Shane Douglas tries to keep this match in the ring. Tries to keep this match a technical match. New Jack prevents that from happening. New Jack brings the hardcore into the match. He hits him with frying pans. He hits him with chairs. This brings Shane Douglas out of his comfort zone a little bit. The blood dripping down his face gets him amped, gets him going. Shane Douglas starts using the same weapons against New Jack. And this gets New Jack excited. So both of these men just start absolutely battering each other until the wrestling moves of Shane Douglas outsmart New Jack. Shane Douglas beats New Jack in this match. What are we on, Nick?
Number 6,
Six?
and you got 3.5 minutes to go.
Oh,
Three and a half
fuck me.
minutes spent. Sorry, 3.5 minutes spent.
Oh, okay. So I've got, what, 6.5 to go?
Yep.
Okay. We've got the Dudleys, including Spike Dudley, coming out. I don't remember if Spike's with them at this point, but
Yes.
fuck it. We've got them coming out, and they say nobody in this ho-dunk town could fight anybody in the Dudley family, including Spike. So we put Spike up against anybody in this audience or anybody in the back. Mikey Whipwreck's music hits. Mikey Whipwreck comes out, and we get Mikey Whipwreck versus Spike Dudley. Two of the people in ECW that took the worst bumps you could possibly fucking imagine. So, they do as you expect. They throw each other out the ropes. They hit each other into the apron. We see some insane suplexes into the barricade. The match ends when Spike Dudley hits a Dudley dog from the apron to the outside through a flaming table. The other Dudley brothers get Mikey Whipwreck up, throw him into the ring. They throw Spike in there. 1, 2, 3. Spike Dudley beats Mikey Whipwreck. There we go. So that was a match and a segment. That's 2. Give me number 8, damn it. You suck, Nick.
Segment 7, please.
Okay. Segment 7. Tag team match. Lance Storm, Justin Credible versus Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten. We get the chair swinging maniacs versus what were they called? The primetime players or something
Impact
like that?
players, my friend.
Impact players. We get an insane tag team match. Shut up, Sav.
Trent Russell and Titus O'Neil come out.
Shut up, Sav.
Let the man box Sav.
We get Justin Credible and Lance Storm versus the chair swinging maniacs. This is
Hardcore chair swinging freaks, to be precise.
Thank you.
By the way, this match was actually on CyberSlam 98.
I haven't watched the match because I haven't been able to see the fucking show, Nick. Once again, I am so happy that this actually happened. Yes. Chair swinging maniacs, Impact players. Impact players go over because Lance Storm hits Axel Rotten in the face with a chair, with a super kick. 1, 2, 3. That's match number 7. I hate this. Joey Styles comes out for segment number 8 and asks the crowd how they're doing. The crowd comes unglued. Joey Styles says that we've got 2 more matches for the audience. Are they ready? Crowd loses their shit. Co-main event. Sabu versus the Sandman. Barbed wire everything match. This is exactly what?
Hack don't work there right now.
He's on the fucking roster sheet.
He may have been on the roster sheet, but he'd signed with WCW at this point.
Son of a shit, is Jake Roberts with them?
Yep.
Then Jake Roberts versus Sabu in a barbed wire everything match. Oh.
Carry on. 2 more segments to go.
Barbed wire everything match. Sabu versus Jake Roberts in a match that Jake Roberts would probably never fucking do in his life. So, with that being said, Sabu takes every single barbed wire bump in this match. The only thing that Jake Roberts does in this match is take a barbed wire chair to the head and he draws a little bit of color for the audience. Jake Roberts would never do this match ever. Oh yeah, Lance Storm definitely has the worst chair shots I've ever seen. Maybe. I digress. Sabu goes for a
Minute and a half,
barbed
Matty.
wire. What is that?
Minute and a half left.
Sabu goes for the leg drop with his legs wrapped in barbed wire to Jake Roberts onto a table. That doesn't happen. Jake Roberts gets him in the ring, hits him with the DDT. 1, 2, 3. Jake Roberts over Sabu. Taz versus RVD for the main event. This goes exactly as you'd expect. Tazplex, rotating Savate kick. These two can work. We get a half and half Tazplex that lands RVD onto his neck. Taz goes for the Kujikatami, goes for the Taz mission. RVD kicks himself up off of the ropes to reverse it, gets the shoulders down. 1, 2, Taz rolls back over and flattens out, getting RVD flattened out for the Taz mission. RVD does not answer to the response of the referee. Taz beats RVD in the main event of CyberSlam due to chokeout.
Right, I'm going to go first, Matt. Good effort, considering we really put you on the spot. But one,
I had to speed through that.
Rob Van Dam at this point hadn't lost a match in 1 year and 7 months.
I could not.
1 year and 7 months. He was in the middle of the epic TV title reign that defined his career, and you just had him drop it to Taz, who should have been.
I did not have it as a title match.
Who should have been challenging for the world title in 3 weeks against Shane Douglas at Guilty as Charged.
Once again, I could not find anything.
I gave you this show deliberately. The show's impossible to find, but all of the shows that happened around it are really easy to find. You book this show by booking around the show. That's why I gave it you. It gave you carte blanche to do whatever you wanted as long as you stuck within ECW. You did your damnedest. Considering we put you on the spot and you had to do sex segments, you did your damnedest, and it was a bastard of me to give you this show. However,
I tried my best with a 32 roster.
However, I cannot, in good score, get good revision, give you more than a 2.5.
You know what?
I can't do it.
Take it.
I can't do it. So you're getting a very generous 2.5 from me. Remy?
He is muted.
Not anymore.
I was a big ECW fan. Oh my god, I dropped.
So was I.
Growing up. So even though I don't think I've seen that pay-per-view, I know all the wrestlers and whatnot. Inoki beating up Blue Meanie popped me. That was funny. It was blatant.
That was hilarious.
I do kind of have to agree there. At first I thought, what the fuck are you doing? But just the idea of Inoki shooting on Meanie.
That fat piece of shit.
I could not come up with anything else. I had a time limit.
You didn't have to. That was good.
That was good.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
And
You just went all downhill from there.
Yeah, it's the optics.
Dude,
of that
you could have gone for the full-on New Japan cop-out on this card.
Yeah, you could have just done
They
a
used like
crossover.
4 guys.
I could have, but you want to know the only downside to that?
You only knew Inoki.
I had no idea who was on New Japan's roster at the
Yeah,
time.
see, I knew it.
Takamichi Noku,
Mm-hmm.
Gran Hameda, Gran Ninawa, the Great Sasuke.
In '98, I thought Taka was in WWE. God damn it!
Taka didn't go to WWE until 2001? No, Taka.
All on this show.
Anywho,
I'm
Do you
gonna
guys
give you a
rate it?
3.
Taka would have been 97 in WWE.
Yeah.
He won the initial light heavyweight championship tournament.
Yep, and he was sent back to ECW as part of the FMW promotion as a talent exchange because Vince was pumping money into ECW,
Yeah, and then
where he had his Iguela feud.
and then Kaientai came out, and then Tucker came in after.
Correct.
Kaientai debuted before Tucker.
Anyway, Remy, what's your score?
3. I'm gonna give you a 3, man. The
Okay.
Inoki. If you didn't have that Inoki on the card, it would have been a very low 2.5.
you told me I had New Japan. I'm going to use Inoki.
Did. It's fine.
No, I said if you
Yeah.
didn't use Inoki, then it would have been a 2.5.
Yeah. Cap, fire away.
So notes I had here: Joey Styles A+, Bam Bam going over A+. I've been starting to have a weird theory. I haven't really.
I'll take it.
That's my brother.
I will take any
mark in the
star.
world.
I will take any stars. I will let you know that right now.
I have a working theory. I haven't put pen to paper or paddle to ass yet, but I've been starting to get this theory. Jerry Lynn, possibly the original Kenny Omega.
Yep.
Just a weird
I
little
hear it.
Without a
Twinkle.
shadow of a doubt.
just a weird little thing because I accidentally watched Omega Okada their second match last night. Then just by random happenstance, I watched a Jerry Lynn match, and I was like, "Wait, one
They even-
plus
they even
one
dress the same currently.
equals."
Yeah.
So,
Jeans and t-shirt tucked in.
anywho, Anoki going into business for himself on the meanie, that would have popped me then, after, now, before.
For then, now, forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then, now, forever, together.
Together.
Yes. Douglas versus New Jack. I put in my notes here initially when I heard that match. I wrote down WTF ? But I liked it. I liked how you booked the match. Again,
It worked for
just
ECW at the time.
well. See, here's the thing: is a lot of times people see name A, name B, and they think, "Oh God, this is going to be a piece of shit." Not if they do it right, and you did it right. So kudos there. I thought you were going to do something screwy and bullshit, but you didn't. You impressed me here. This was by far, other than Anoki just manhandling Meanie. This is my favorite thing you did, other than giving Bam Bam a win, because I fucking love Bam Bam Bigelow. Liked the mid card, the two matches in the middle. Always loved seeing Spike Dudley. Anytime I get to see Lance Storm and Justin Credible, love those guys. Then we get to Sabu, and a man who was not even under contract.
He was on the ECW roster. I can send you the list.
Just because you're getting paid doesn't mean you're available.
Fuck you.
Big difference.
Yeah, he was booked in WCW, dude. He was hack at the
I
time. You
don't
gotta remember,
give a shit.
he didn't quit ECW. He just walked.
He
never
was on
did
the
a
roster at the time. That's all I knew.
Just because
I was using who was on the roster.
no, I'm giving you a bit of slack there because they're in the IWC, if you want to call it that at the time. There was kind of a what the fuck? Why is Sandman in WCW? Yes, he was still being paid. But he wasn't. It was a whole big whatchamadoodle. And I know it's ECW, barbed wire everything match. Your first thought went to Jake Roberts.
No, my
Now-
first thought went to somebody else. But Nick told me no.
Okay,
Had
Cap,
you-
quickly with your score because we have a guest.
Had you removed the barbed wire or anything and just gave me Sabu and Jake Roberts, I would have been far more in. But Sabu and Roberts, I do have to. You kind of saved yourself a bit at the end just throughout the goddamn barbed wire. Taz versus RVD. God damn it, Matthew. RVD was the shit. He didn't lose for 18 months. He held the TV title for 18 months, didn't
22
lose for
months.
22 months, and didn't get pinned for 24, 25. I mean, Maddie, I love the idea of the match, but you fucked RVD right in the middle of his greatest run of his career. So I'm going to side with Nicholas on this one. I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5, and I'm being generous there a little bit.
That's 8 stars.
So that's 8 out of 15. So let me do my tabulations. I've been keeping track. You know I'm the math nerd. So,
And I will bring in our special guest. Hey, Chip.
oh,
Not my bro.
So,
Matty, when we have given this score, it's not up to me anymore. It's not
Oh,
up
I
to
know.
us.
Oh,
It's
I
up
know.
to the champ. And I'm sure he's got a few things to say. So once we've given you our final score, I'm just going to let Jimmy rip.
I gotta cover myself in eggs and syrup after this, so let's go.
Huh?
Why?
Where? For what?
Why?
Some freaky deaky shit.
It's the luck of the draw.
What does that mean, Matthew?
You've seen the show, Remy.
Oh, are you doing? Oh, Jesus Christ! Do you know it's Thursday?
Immediately after this, I have to go into my shower. So,
Do you know it's Thursday and we're meant to have a crew day podcast tonight, mate?
I mean, do you guys want to do it immediately after I cover myself in syrup and fucking eggs?
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
man.
turn yourself off. Do the
Anywho, Jimmy.
do one covered in
Do
the
it
syrup
nasty.
and shit.
Cat, what do you get?
So, of the 3 rounds, in the first round, Maddie got a 9.65 out of 15 possible stars.
Forever.
Second round, he got a 17, or actually, he got, no, wait a minute, let me correct this. 3 plus 2.5 plus 2.5. So that would be an 8 out of 30 there. No, so yeah, 9.65.
Trust me, we know math, people.
I don't. Well, I have him do it.
Yeah.
I have long hair. That's kind of my thing.
So essentially, we've got an 8 plus an 8 plus a 9.65, which comes to 25.65 stars out of 45 possible stars,
All right.
which comes in at a grade of 57%.
What?
King? The floor is yours.
So I'm gonna go ahead and be generous here. First, I want to give just 2 critiques. I'm not gonna say anything about your WCW stuff. I think they hit that right on the nail. Gimmicked up. What I didn't like about the WrestleMania one is you had Jake Roberts and Roddy Piper, 2 of the all-time greatest to have never won the title, and you put it on them. Therefore, you've taken them off a more illustrious list, in my opinion. It's a much more exclusive list that they're on by not winning the title
I can see what you're talking about
and
there.
threw it on them. That's a personal thing. I think a few people might agree with me on it. That was my only real knock on that one. I won't be as picky as they were. I was like, man, he need to have a good score for me to throw this man a bone and give him a shot at me. Since I was essentially, this is another conspiracy theory happening here, and I'm just getting
Right.
boozled.
Jimmy, it's
By
not a
something
conspiracy theory.
right
Your
here.
boy,
The other guy-
let me down.
Yes.
Your boy let me down because of real life constraints, and this is what I had to do. As it says, in wrestling, you have many opponents, but the toughest opponent is often yourself.
Same as in divorce court.
So, okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. The toughest opponent is yourself, and I'm tired of taking on the hacks. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a challenge here. I believe in underdogs. I believe in giving the small guys a chance, even though I've done bitch slapped his ass in the past. And I'm gonna give him a chance, and I'm gonna let him take a shot at me next month or whenever the next show is. I don't know.
Will be next
Good
month.
schedules. I'll slap him again. That's fine. Find me some competition though, because this is getting old, Nick. This is getting old.
Okay, Jim.
This thing
Would
right
you
here-
like
Until
to
I
announce-
come out of retirement,
Would you
motherfucker.
like to announce
Hold on.
Would you like to announce what show he will be booking?
right here. 2020 Titan Towers Money in the Bank.
This is
Sweet
one of my
Jesus
favorite-
God
No, no, no.
preserve
Oh,
us.
no.
Yeah.
It gets worse for you, Matty.
This
It
is
gets
one of my
worse
favorite
for you,
pay-per-views.
We've
This
done
is
a
one of
lot.
my
Worse? How much worse can it get? Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah.
Mood 'em and beaut 'em. We've done WrestleManias, we've done Royal Rumbles, we've done King of the Rings, we've done Survivor Series, we've done all the big timers. It's time to step into the ladder situation and do some Money in the Banks. And we got to fix this one big time because Tucky Otis does not cut it for me.
Oh,
Does not
yeah.
work.
All
The
right,
only good thing
gentlemen.
that happened in that match is that Rey Mysterio got thrown off the top of the roof for being a deadbeat dad that he is. Disregard the
Okay,
fact that
Mike. would
Damn
you like to
straight.
know What other show?
Deadbeat
Would you like to know
father.
what other shows you will be booking?
What was that, Nick?
it doesn't matter.
Well, you need to know. So,
What was
other
that?
So
than
you can book
Money
them.
in the Bank, other than Money in the Bank, the pandemic era, we're sticking with the pandemic era for all of these shows.
That's what I'm
We are
saying.
also doing
Well, Nick, no, you're not that devious.
NXT 2020 Takeover in Your House.
Oh, Christ, Nick, you are not this damn devious.
That's a
no
fun
way.
Followed
one, though.
in the co-book by Backlash 2020, more
Wait,
commonly
time out.
known as Rematch the Card.
So, Jim,
I'm not
we're gonna have
rematching.
fun with these.
Oh,
You know something, Nick? I have this little human, this skull on my desk. I think I should send this to you, and you could just pet this while you're announcing these things, because
What can I say? I let the
fuck
champ
me
do the
running.
show, and then I go from there. We are hitting the pandemic hard. We are going to the fanless era. Don't blame
I'm
me.
excited.
This is the champ's
I'm
idea.
excited, man. Jim, I'm gonna let you know. This is gonna be fun.
oh, I know. I'm the champ. I win for
Pandemic, that's a pancreotomy.
No.
And you can't live without a pancreas, just ask Patrick Swayze.
I will just
Jimmy
say
and
this.
Jimmy and I have two of the greatest rosters to work with during a pandemic era.
And I
We
will
got
say
this.
Go on, Jim.
I will say this. I would not have picked the pandemic era against anyone else because I think Maddie's a creative son of a bitch. And I think that's what's going to make this really fun.
I agree.
Got to challenge
Right,
myself.
ladies
at
and
this
gents.
point. I got to challenge myself.
Right, ladies and gents, that's the show. Thank you so much for joining us for Wrestling With Your Thoughts, episode 5. It's been a blast. Matty, you did really well. Congratulations on winning the title shot. You did.
Did I?
Yeah,
Don't
you did,
lie to this
considering.
man, Nick. Don't lie.
All right, you sucked. All right,
Thank you.
but
No. Well, again, I have to reiterate, Maddie has gotten so much better at finishes in this show,
just the build that he's
apart
not
from
good at yet.
a year ago. Well, neither.
Don't worry. I've got pandemic era that I get to book. Jimmy, I look forward to meeting you in a month.
Maddie, I'm super impressed with how good you've gotten with your finishes.
Maddie, see you later.
It really impresses me.
To all of you, stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated. Don't get arrested. Don't get pulled over in the state of Kansas.
Work
Like
like
a
the
king.
devil, eat like a king, sleep like a baby. And if I can possibly
Well,
introduce two more that I was thinking about, but I'll save it for the Raw Ball podcast.
Right, but that's the show, gents. Champ, thanks for joining us and for putting your title on the line. I appreciate it. Please join us on the 18th of next month, same time, same channel. We will be having the next championship match when the King puts his Wrestling With Your Thoughts fancy booking title up against Matty Laws. And just remember, we are but 4 geeks obsessed with a good show.
And Jimmy, just remember this.
Nothing without
I'm
yours.
retired. I ain't dead.
And
You might want to stay retired. You might end up dead.
Jimmy, bro. That title's coming to the crew day.
You invite me to join the crew day?
Nah, well, you can join.
No. No. We're happy to have you on as a guest, but
Yeah.
that belt, no.
Right, ladies and gents,
Failed to capitalize.
that's the show. See you next month. Adios.